Yo, what's up? This is Q No Rap Name. You are listening to the Cabbages podcast.
Hi, Gary.
Hey there, Jeff. How's it going?
Gary, Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
93.
So, pros and cons. Pro, Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
There's cons, like it's not a very good movie, maybe.
What happened to Lori Petty?
There's some awful things that surround it, and I'm sure we'll get into it.
Yeah, probably.
Uh,
If we can. I don't know.
I just have one question before we get started, before we bring on Q.
Yeah,
Q,
yeah.
no,
Sure,
Q, no
sure.
rap name on
Q,
the
no rap
show.
name.
We're super pumped about it.
Looking forward to it.
Pro or con rat burgers? Is that
Well,
a pro? It's a con.
how far off do you think we are in our current timeline from us all living underground and eating rat burgers?
This oh, please ask me that question again. You know what?
Yeah.
Ask me afterwards, because if we get into it,
Okay. All right.
I don't want to take away from what the guest is going to say.
Yeah, sure.
But-
Yeah, because that definitely could get discussed.
But
Like, plus the fact that there's
if we
bottled
don't
beer
visit
somehow.
that by the time we come around to the end, hit me again. I'm
Yeah,
ready.
yeah, we'll do it. Yeah. I want to talk about how they have beer bottling somehow in this alcohol and meat-free society. Well, there's going to be so much about this. Let's just get into
Let's
it.
get in there.
Demolition Man. We got Q No Rap Name coming up next. I am excited to introduce our guest for today's show. Joining us right now is Q No Rap Name. Philadelphia-based producer, has been on a prodigious run of late. You have to be checking this out. Beat tapes and all these other projects that explore his sonic skill set. He recently dropped an excellent project called Living Room, with features from Fatboy Sharif, Lungs, and Vic Spencer, among other great independent rappers, people we've talked about at Cabbages quite a bit, some people who've even been on this show. And you can get it right now on Bandcamp or wherever music is streamed or sold. So hello and welcome to the show.
Hello and thank you. That was a really nice intro.
Great
I
to have
appreciate
you.
that.
We've been doing this 90s season is kind of the focus. So we've been going through either like blockbusters, big deal films. We've been doing weird little indie type shit. We've been doing like films that should never have existed even.
Right.
Like we've made some wild picks. But I realized that, there are some gaps. And Jeff and I had a conversation about kind of where we should be filling in. And we realized we hadn't done a Wesley Snipes film yet
We had
this
done
season.
one.
That's very 90s. You got to do that.
And it's just like, how do you not?
That dude was everywhere.
He was working, man.
Everywhere. Ever since
working.
Major League '89,
Right.
he was all over the place. So big that when they franchised Major League, he was like, I got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, bro. I'm doing shit.
Then
Actually.
then the thing that got me famous, I'm good.
Damn,
That's got to feel pretty cool.
Yeah. Nah, shout out Wesley Snipes, man. I mean, I probably haven't seen, I was going to mention this at some point anyway, regardless, but I haven't seen probably any Wesley Snipes movie. I don't think I ever saw Blade. I don't watch movies damn near ever. That's why I'm so hyped to be on this, talking about a movie, you know what I mean? Because I have no real point of reference. The only Stallone joint, I think I saw Rocky once. I did see Rocky once on a very bad date.
I mean,
And it
you
was
live in
cool.
Philly. You in Philly.
Right. So you
Like
would think
legally, I
I've
think
seen
you have
Rocky.
to, right?
You would think, right? I know, but it's with so many classics like that. I've seen the moment so many times. I feel like I've seen the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it. He runs up the steps. He's in the meat locker.
And it must be like, obviously being in Philly, like you're there. It's a fucking tourist trap to go up those steps. It's not Philly people going up and checking that out. Like
That's a fact.
we've never
Unless
done
you're
it.
like
We
a
come and
runner.
visit.
If you're like
Yeah, no, if you're a runner, respect.
Sure, but
I can't. I don't have the body for that. I can't get up
man,
there.
forget it. You never see nobody running and smiling. You know what I mean? Running sucks.
Facts.
I'm not doing it.
Facts. But speaking of runs, Wesley Snipes had a tremendous run in the 90s.
Good segue.
He did. I'm thinking
Incredible.
when we were trying to figure out what movie to watch for this episode. I was like, we could do Passenger 57. We could do Murder at 1600. There are so many things he was in. Like he did thrillers. He did
Blade.
just And Blade obviously
Shout
is
out to
another one of
Blade.
those like the classic people. But then it's like, okay, like let's do something. Like we could have done Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Good. That was in there.
I don't know that.
And so that's a movie he did in drag with Patrick Swayze
Yes.
and John
Okay.
Leguizamo.
I've seen. Yeah. Okay. Bet. I feel you. Yeah, he was
And like,
working.
so he was a star. So like, I'm trying to make sure that we don't end up with too many blind spots. We can't cover everything all season. Like, if I have to do every single action star, it's gonna be exhausting. So we
Right.
combine the two. We get an actioner with both of them, and it's a sci-fi film, and it is to
And
put it mildly.
since we're playing our hand, we're playing the Snipes card,
Yeah.
not the Stallone card.
Let's be clear, yeah.
Just so everyone knows this, we're doing this for Wesley.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, I feel like
This
it's like we needed to do
performance
that.
from Wesley, it was like he was in a different movie. Everyone else is doing their thing, and he's like, I am going to have a ridiculous amount of fun.
He was so turned up the whole time. Like he was on like 11. Like everything was like it the whole escalation of events was purely solely because of him.
Right.
100%.
Like, he was a bad muff. And like he didn't stop. He was moving. He got thrown out of a fucking car. He just like popped up the next day like in the same fit. Fine. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, the same fit thing is a thing in this movie. I don't think it's something we need to really dive into, but I think for
We
the
could.
most part,
We
people
could.
just wear the same clothes every day.
I thought that was super fire. I was thinking about the clothes because I actually just rewatched it moments ago because I'm like, my memory is shot. I'm like, let me have this shit fresh in my mind. But everybody had that shit on. Like it was like Fashion Week the whole time. Like people walking around with like a funny hat. I'm like, all right.
Like they were allowed to be a little different, but everything needed basically to be a uniform, maybe of a different color, or there was like a little flair to her. The hat was a little different, but generally everyone wore the same thing.
Looked like some good tailoring. You know what I mean?
Unless they were
boring.
part of the fascist police.
Right.
Keep in mind that the costume designer on this movie, because this is the kind of shit that I get into. We start looking at this stuff. Costume designer on this movie is a gentleman named Bob Ringwood, and among his credits are David Lynch's Dune movie.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen it,
but
I can imagine the costume work in that.
And he did Batman.
Damn.
The original, the '89 Batman.
Okay.
And Batman Returns.
Damn.
The following year, or a couple years later, and he did like Santa Claus the movie. But like he was like a go-to person that did a ton of stuff. And all those films I've described have a certain aesthetic to the style.
Absolutely.
Like,
Certainly.
all
And a
of them
different
do.
one. Like he wasn't rehashing old shit. He was like creating new worlds.
So
Gotta
like
give him- he was
was-
the Wesley Snipes of costume design at the time. It sounds like.
yeah,
It
the
brings
hair
up something
choices-
for me. It brings up something for me where this movie is very Batman. The music is very Batman.
Oh, the music is silly.
We've got a Joker character who recruits an army of weirdos.
Absolutely.
It's, there are obvious differences, the sort of almost time travel of freezing people and then bringing back to life. Makes it very different, but like, you know what I mean? The music, other than
had
like
that energy.
the real songs they used, it was a very Elfman score.
Yeah.
But to my point before about how I never watch movies, I never saw Batman.
It's a jam.
It looks great.
I actually was just talking to my wife
love
about this
that
the other day. I used to own that on VHS. Like I had that
Same.
tape, and it was like between that and Prince's Bat Dance, and like I was 100% in. I was the right
I owned
age for it.
merch. They nailed me. They got
I
me.
was 10
They
years old.
got
That
me.
movie comes
I had
out.
a Batman
Fly.
hat. It got stolen from me in elementary
It was
school.
all over. It wasn't that the mug, the McDonald's mug, the Batman mug.
Oh yeah, they had McDonald's.
That was like
McDonald's
iconic.
tie-in. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No,
Figurines. I went all in. With
Oh, I
that.
had the toys. I had all that shit.
Yeah.
It was again, I was 10 years old, but like that's a film I was just saying to my wife the other day. I'm like, I need to go back and rewatch that one because I've rewatched like all of the sequels and I've watched up to and including the Pattinson one.
Was that any good?
But no, it's terrible.
Oh,
It's
God.
terrible. It's a trash film.
I would never.
No, you would. Well, here's the thing: is secretly, not so secretly, Jeff hates comic book movies.
I don't like comic book movies.
I hate comic book movies too, man. I'm right
I'm
there with
with
you, except
you.
for the
I
good
just
ones.
don't.
I again, my point of reference is shot, but right, I saw The Dark Knight. That was fire.
Mhm.
I thought that was like an actually good movie. But when we start talking about like Marvel shit, like, and I'm not even just hating on it because it's an easy thing to dunk on. Like, it does.
It's only easy to dunk on because so many people absolutely adore it.
Right.
it's the
Sure.
zeitgeist, and the zeitgeist is easy to dunk on,
Yeah, it makes me kind of upset. I'm like,
which
damn,
is
like
like
I just can't. I don't know.
something this movie does too. We'll get into later, but like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's got a very bad. The movie's got a very Batman feel to it,
for sure.
and the heroes, the hero coming from our time. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're to believe that we're the same as this person at that time. Now, I'm
Right.
not. I mean, the criminal masterminds of the 1996 time. I mean, there weren't that many times that buses were stolen and then
I
driven
don't
into
know.
places that were
Well,
blown.
let's roll it back just a little bit there
Well, this is the
because
beginning.
at the beginning, let's roll back
Yeah,
because
yeah.
first of all, this film starts in 1996, but keep in
96.
mind this is filmed in 93. So already
Right.
96 is the
Oh,
near
okay.
future.
I
You're
did
Which
already
is
in
not
the
know that.
crazy.
near future.
Hmm.
I thought that
'Cause-
was immediately very interesting. How I'm like, wait, we're starting off in the really near future. Like that was kind of cool. Usually it's like, you know, what I mean, 20, 30 years away at least.
Exactly.
That shit was like 3 years after the present day. I thought that was an interesting. And the shit was just all bad.
Yeah. And what that is from that opening shot where the Hollywood sign seen from the back is on fire.
Hmm.
The Hollywood Hills are on fire. And you
Absolutely.
see that's Hollywood. You see it's like Los Angeles, 1996. And you're if watching this, let's say in 93, then you're seeing this. And the immediate thing it's meant to evoke and what it directly inspires it are the LA
The
riots.
riots, yeah, I thought about
Right.
that immediately, and I didn't have a point of reference. I'm like, wait, was this before that or was this after that? Like, because I was a baby. I
Yeah.
don't know, but that seemed like it must have been all taking place at around the same time. So that
So
was an
they're
interesting point too.
they're directly drawing from that for that scene. So they're imagining a version of LA where basically riots have riots and I'm assuming other actions have turned the city into a place where you could have a lawless zone where Wesley Snipes as, you know, a supervillain, because really there's no other way to describe him in this film other
He
than
really
supervillain.
is. He
Like he's
really
not a
is.
crime lord. Like we've watched
These are
movies where like
superheroes. Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. These are
Yeah, it's a
superheroes.
superhero
They're
movie
called
for
regular
sure.
cops, but like they're doing shit that humans can't do. That's one of the
Right. It was
that's
so
one of the things
superhuman.
that makes you a superhero, right?
When he
when he
froze
jumped out of
Cuz
the
out of the
plane.
damn car, like he picked him up and threw him out the
Totally.
whip. I'm like, wait a minute. It's a superhuman.
Oh yeah, like at some point, I don't even remember which person it was. I've seen this movie like 20 times, I bet. Each time, like I am amazed that in the beginning, it's Stallone rolls through just like a bunch of big, strong dudes and is just like, boop,
Yeah.
bop, bop. No,
Yeah.
thank you. I just don't have time for your bullshit. There's only
Right.
one guy here that can fuck with me. And he's
Right, right.
upstairs,
I'm
and I'm
fucking
going
like
upstairs.
yo, no, it
That's
was
it.
obviously superhero-ish when Cuz jumped out of the fucking helicopter in the first place. Because I'm like, wait, he
Yeah.
just tied to a rope. He don't even got to what? Just like falls, like snaps in half, and just tuck rolls and instantly shoots a guy. I'm like, this is sick. I was locked in at that moment.
we're at the
Really?
time where bungee jumping is a thing.
Yeah.
And so you can see them like piecing together elements of pop culture
Yeah.
throughout this. They're trying to pull that. And then we do the time jump between 96 and 2032, where now we're seeing the future. But there it begins. It doesn't begin where the viewer is at the
Right.
time
Well,
of release.
So, because I'm watching this shit on I shouldn't even say the thing. I shouldn't even give them the thing, but I'm
Don't
watching
give
it
them
on
the-
the platform where every time you pause it, it just shows you like pop up video facts about it. And I thought I really dig that about the platform. But it said initially the director's vision for it was to start in the future. And they did a rewrite where they're like, no, you have to start in the past because
You got to explain why we're in the future. Yeah.
he said if you don't show Kansas, then Oz isn't as cool. And I'm like, that's
Exactly.
a dope. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point. I don't know how
except
much
it's-
that mattered because it sucked.
Well,
The scene was just a stinker from
Oh, I
start to
love
finish.
that shit. What are you talking about?
There's
That was
a
good.
there's
no.
a there's a cop at one point that rolls up from LA and is like a total New York accent.
Yeah. A lot of that.
And it's just like yelling at people like, "Who do you think you are?" And you're like, "All right, well, you know what?
Wait,
dude?
wait. 1 second, because that cop should be familiar to you, Jeff.
Of course he is. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Said
Yeah, but
arrested
he
me in
is
90
he's the police captain from the Lethal Weapon movies.
No
Yeah,
way.
right, exactly.
That's
So
what I'm
he's
saying.
basically
Like,
playing the same character.
this
Yeah.
shit is pretty self-aware. I'm thinking, like, I don't know how seriously they were taking themselves making this movie because of shit like that.
Mm.
Like it's really silly. Like the fact that it's actually funny, like there's jokes throughout the whole shit and they all land and like I'm like that's cool, but also like it's silly on top of that, but it's dead
Right.
serious and they really are whooping ass. Like it's a good ass movie to me. I like that
So-
scene. I dug that scene.
So let's break down just for a second because we keep talking about kind of the script and these elements to it. This is a script that took a long time to get to where it got. There are 3 credited screenwriters on this. However, there are as many as 6 or 7 people in total who were vying for credit for writing this movie. It started out with a guy, his name is Peter Lenkov, who is credited with selling the initial screenplay to, I believe, to Warner or some other studio in 1988.
Right.
Sells an original one. It has none of the humor at that point.
Interesting.
Oh, it's just an action film.
It's an action film about a cryogenically frozen cop who is thought out in the future to stop a bad guy.
Right.
So that's the baseline. Then it goes through all sorts of different rounds with other people coming in to do punch-ups, rewrites, this and that to get it into shape. Finally, it goes to a gentleman named Daniel Waters, who is, if you notice in the credit, is the top person credited as screenplay of the 3 people ultimately credited. He is the one who is responsible for infusing the humor, for bringing in the 1996 stuff, for basically turning this into the movie we saw. His rewrite was so substantial that when all these screenwriters vying for credit went into arbitration to try to figure out the credits on this thing, and the producer Joel Silver paid a number of these guys off just to go away rather than give them credit. But when they got into arbitration, like this is the guy who came out on top. So the things that you're already pointing out early on that made you endeared to this film come from a final rewrite of it. It's a rare situation, given what we've talked
This
about
day
with
and
these
age.
films on the show. It's a rare situation on this show that we do on the show where we encounter a movie where this many cooks are in the kitchen and it isn't a complete disaster.
You
of a
say it was
script.
too many cooks?
Yo, I love too many
cooks.
cooks. I respect the shit out of that as far as making a movie. Like, not that I've ever made a movie, but to like have your whole shit already done and written and then like, well, let's see what this guy has to say. Cause like in my mind, I'm like, bro, I wrote a whole movie. Like we're making the movie I wrote. So to even be open to that, like I'm sure they had their disagreements, but like to even be able to come together and see the bigger picture and then create that is like, I gotta respect it because maybe it wouldn't be. I mean, it obviously wouldn't be the same film, but it might not hit me the same way if it was just like a Lethal Weapon or whatever, like a straight up action movie. Not
It's
that I ever
worse.
saw Lethal Weapon.
It's
I
worse.
think,
in
yeah,
the
it was
sense-
supposed to just be sci-fi action.
And keep in mind that, and I'm sure we will get to some of this casting stuff at some point in the conversation, but at some point in the early stages of this, before this was a Stallone vehicle, this script ended up somewhere in like Steven Seagal's production company or whatever
Sick.
deal he had, with his with whatever studio's putting out his stuff.
Boy,
so this
that's
would have
a
been
different film.
I'm sitting here
A
picturing it.
wildly
That's crazy.
different film.
Oh, yeah,
Steven
but-
Seagal and Sandra Bullock. Sandra,
Oh,
I don't know.
don't get me started. Sandra Bullock didn't even show up until 3 days into filming. There was another person who was supposed to play her part entirely.
Well, I'm glad she showed up because I loved her in that movie and she was looking good as hell and I was loving it. Everybody was like, everybody was so peak. Like Stallone was looking good, she was looking good. Like it was
Stallone
like,
was jacked upon
was
jacked
ripped,
upon
dude.
jacked.
like
He
and
was like Rambo and Rocky combined in this film.
yeah, he was peak Stallone with that shit.
There were muscles popping off of muscles that I've never seen.
He looked juiced up a little bit. He was
Jeff,
like
do you want to get
zany
depressed?
and shit.
Jeff, do you want to get depressed for a moment?
No.
How old do you think Stallone was in this
No,
movie?
don't do this.
Oh,
Oh,
How
don't
do you think?
that.
How do you think he
No,
was when he
no,
made
no.
this movie?
Oh God, he was like
no
our
guess.
age.
He was 46 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you serious?
46.
Looked
Looking like that.
Damn. Yo,
So
shout
all
out
he
to-
did was work out and act.
And
for him, man.
keep in mind too, like he's coming off of some flops.
Mm.
And he basically had made these like we talk about Rambo, talk about Rocky, you could talk
Sure.
about Over the Top. Like there's so many films you can talk about for him that like are action or these martial arts. And then he did like Oscar, and then he did Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, which is
Is that like a comedy?
truly. Oh, it's like did
Yeah,
you
it's
ever
him
watch
and Estelle Getty.
Golden Girls?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. I'd watch that.
She
It
was
was-
like
it-
the Sophia on the Golden Girls.
Is it funny?
No, it's supposed to be. It's
It's
supposed to
pretty
be.
miserable, man. It was pretty miserable, and it was targeted at people like me at the time that it came out. And
Really.
I was like, I don't want to watch this
I'm
again.
not with this right here.
I don't like this.
But see, that's my whole thing. Again, like not ever really watching movies that I will sit down and watch and love a shitty movie off like I don't have a,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely
It's
there.
I love when that happens. It's like, your casual ball watcher versus like, you know what I mean? Like your stats guy is like I'm so casual with a movie, you could put on some dog shit. I'll sit there and be like, "Wait, what?" Like,
Oh,
all right.
listen, that's, kind of the basis of the show,
Mm.
is to kind of watch some dog shit and not have to think about it much.
Mm.
This was a great movie. This is a good ass
This
movie.
is not dog shit.
No,
I have issues with it, but
me
it's
too.
not a dog shit movie.
My issues with it make it into. I like the issues are. I'm like, are you
Yeah.
dead serious right now? Like,
Yeah.
do you know that you're like making it's silly? You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
very silly.
absolutely. And
Yeah,
like the performances bear that out. They're
just
there to
keeping.
make a
Yeah,
comedy and the action's getting in the way.
Yeah,
because here's the elements that are going on here. First of all, I just want you to imagine there was a version of this film at some point that was it didn't happen because they didn't want to do it this way, but it was going to be Steven Seagal as John Spartan,
yeah.
and in the role
Brutal.
of Simon Phoenix, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Hell yeah.
It would have been a good movie,
It would have been
Yeah, and it would
dry.
have been like,
It would have been no comedy. It would have just been
but
a
the comedy
dry
would have
action.
come from their performances because
sure.
that's what
They're
we were doing. Was
stilted
laugh at it.
performances.
Yeah.
So I appreciate these performances that we actually got to see
No,
a
totally
lot more
with it.
because knowing what this could have been, knowing what we could have had.
I think they need to still make that movie right now while they're old as shit. They're all alive, right? Like, do that shit. Steven Seagal ain't
Everyone's
looking
there.
good though. Like Steven
No, he's
Seagal,
Maybe we
not.
could
like,
make it into a play so they don't have to perform so.
Or
right.
cartoon. We'll do a cartoon. with
Yeah,
their
we'll do a
voices.
cartoon with their
Yeah,
voiceover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like,
everyone.
it, like a comic book style.
nah, that would
Your
be
favorite,
sick.
your
Uh,
favorite style, Jeff.
My favorite.
Right, a comic joint. I
love
don't know,
it.
man. I think it would have worked either way. And again, that's the brilliance of like letting it go through so many hands and like changing it up because like damn, like you kind of had a hit either way you went with it. So the fact that you landed on this is like I don't know, like I fuck with it, you know.
This movie comes out in October of 1993.
Mhm.
But in May of 1993, another Sylvester Stallone movie comes out, a film called Cliffhanger. And Cliffhanger was essentially Stallone's comeback film.
Sick.
It was like the eighth highest grossing film of 1993. Now, keep in mind, that's the same year that Jurassic Park comes out, is the
Wow.
number one movie in
Right.
period.
Right.
One of the
And
history
like
of the world.
it's
Yeah.
like
Right.
that and The Firm, and I mean, like it's like to be in the
Millions of
top
movies.
10 that year is incredible. And so like he's back. By the time this movie comes out in October, he's back.
That's
So
great.
so like we're now seeing him excited. He's in a film he's seems to be enjoying the fact that he's in. He
Sure.
likes being in this. I
Definitely.
think he's enjoying the comedy aspects of it, but also
Definitely.
enjoying that he gets to show off the
What
fact
we
that
got
he's a
with this
badass.
film from his
Good fit.
performance is this was like action hero, one-liners only
So many one-liners.
Stallone.
So many
That
one-liners.
later would birth itself into one of the great shitty movies of all time, Tango and Cash.
Never seen it.
Oh god, shit.
Always liked the title.
It's trash.
It is truly two people talking only in hard one-liners the whole movie.
Oh yeah, I'll watch
Other people
that.
will come in and be like, I am going to try and like coax this scene into, say, meaning or purpose. But as soon as those two dudes start talking, they're just like,
I
like
love
it's
that
just
shit.
it's so over the top, if you will.
To the point of Stallone's comeback, though, I have to mention like he did a great job setting himself up to be rooted for by being Rocky.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like his whole bit was like, "Yo, he's the underdog, but he's coming back and he's gonna whoop ass." And like we love
I mean,
that.
like that's the start of the obsession with him
Sure.
in this country.
So when he
That's
goes, so
where
if
we
he goes
started,
down,
was
you
like
just
the
want him to
ultimate
come back.
underdog story. One of the best sports movies of all time. Like he just hit a beautiful American nail right into our foreheads.
Yeah.
And we would never quit him. It didn't matter how many flops.
No,
The
he did his
Critic has a
thing.
great joke, if you've ever seen the TV show The Critic,
Mm.
on Tubi now.
That's
On
good.
Uh,
Tubi.
I fall asleep to it like every night right now. And there's a really great joke where he's basically looks right in the camera and is like, how can he survive this? How can anyone do this? How can he keep coming back?
Mm.
It was
Yeah.
a very prescient joke. Like, how? How
Yeah.
did he make these pieces of shit and then absolutely continue to come back and do whatever he wanted?
Because we love him. We can't
We
get enough
love
of that
this
guy.
country
And
loves Sylvester
if he
Stallone.
comes back, we're like, hell yeah, dude. There's some dudes you don't care about because they don't have that charisma level to where like, oh, he fell off, all right, whatever. Oh, he's back, all right, whatever. But when he comes back, it's like we all
Listen,
won again.
there was
you
a
know?
Rambo movie not that long ago.
Right.
There were
Damn.
two. There were two Rambo movies. Not that
Two
long.
remake, like two continuations of the story.
But I
Son
want
is
to
a
point
legend.
out. But I want to point out, like what we're talking about here, that there is an American empathy for Stallone, and the formula of this film requires that in a way,
Seriously.
because Wesley Snipes, you know, I named a number of his films. Like he's got a stacked setup,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
he's playing a villain that is truly over the top, and he is somebody. If you are not careful, you root for him the entire movie, despite the fact that he is a
Absolutely.
mass murderer.
I did.
You root for Wesley Snipes.
I
His
love Wesley
performance is
Snipes.
golden.
It made it so hard for me to root for him because he was like he was such a heel that I'm like, oh, I actually fuck this guy. Like he's so, like, but that's how good he was. Like he killed that role. Like he was truly over the top.
He looked like a wrestling heel. He looked like
Absolutely.
an old WWF character.
The funniest thing about the movie to me was the stormtrooper aim. Like these dudes would be point blank, like just dumping whole mags at each other. Nobody gets touched, you know. And I thought that was like, I'm like, this is so movie. This shit.
No
is
one in this movie
on the
could
nose.
shoot.
Yeah,
No one
at
in this
all.
movie could shoot.
Point blank at the end when he's shooting at him from like right there, and he's like completely
Henchmen.
trapped.
The movie's setup is wild because like the cops don't know how to shoot.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they actually don't. Like there's just been no need for so long that it's no longer ingrained in them to use the weapons of destruction. They're calling like pistols weapons of mass destruction, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
I really like that a lot because you gotta write you a damn movie when the cops don't have any guns. It's like, oh, like that's cool. Like that's like interesting, truly interesting.
And then
plot
we
point.
brought our attitude to the future,
And just started whooping
in
ass.
my opinion, began the ruination.
Oh, you like the society?
No, I don't like the society either.
No,
Right.
no.
It was all bad. It was all doomed from the
It
start.
was all trash.
No,
But for the
it-
philosophical movie that this is, like that, I think that's like a point to it. Because, like, what's better? Like, that's like the whole philosophy end of it. Like, do you want this or do you want that? Is there some sort of harmony in the middle? And the funniest shit, when like at the end, they're like, well, what do we do? And they're like, I don't fucking know. Figure it out. And that's the end.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, there's a thing about that though, and that's that I've spent, after watching this twice for the show and spending a lot of time in my research and in conversations about this movie, I've sort of come to the sense that this is, in a very real way, a right-wing movie.
100%.
That this is, Jeff made a joke. We watch these films separately, but we text each other while we're watching them.
Yeah.
So we can keep a dialogue going. We'll play at the same time. It's just kind of how we keep it going. And Jeff made a joke a couple of times that said, "This is the future liberals want."
I kept
And
saying it.
For sure.
it's a good bit,
It's a good bit,
absolutely.
and it is like. So I mean, listen.
And it's
the-
California. It's like that shit is kind of.
Oh
The
yeah,
muted-
California.
The
Shout
muted
out
cop
California.
presence being physically overtaken in moments by one person tells you
One- the
all
one
you
black
really
dude,
need to
yeah.
know about like the version of peace that people think would be coming.
But maybe I'm giving it too much credit, but that's why I think it's the other thing. Like they're parodying that. You know what I mean?
Right.
As silly as we know this movie is physically just looking at it. I'm like, all right, if you're taking just as seriously the action element, the comedy element, and realistically the philosophy element of it, then I'm not gonna put it past you to like make that kind of the point. You know what I mean? And I think Dennis Leary had the best role in the whole shit.
I want to clarify that when I'm saying this is a right wing movie, I'm not saying that this is written by right wingers.
Sure, no, sure.
What
I
I
know.
what I'm suggesting from my take on this is that this was a time in America post Cold War. And if you think about action movies in the 80s, it's all Cold War stuff. It's all
Facts.
they're going down to Latin America. Their enemies are very clearly defined. Same way as like every action movie post 9/11 is terrorism related. So in the 90s, we're dealing with Cold War is over. Who's our enemy now? We're looking inward at our nation. And at the same time, conservative talk radio and conservative thought is permeating the bestseller list for books. It is on your
Yeah,
television,
and
and
there's
it's permeating pop culture. And so, what
Yeah.
I think happens in this film is that this film, I'll even give it enough credit to say it maybe inadvertently does this, but it launders some of these ideas like political correctness
I'll give you that.
into the film. It makes this LA of the future, this San Angeles,
San Angeles.
Right, San Angelo.
I like.
San Angeles from San Diego, Santa Barbara to LA into this effete fruitopia, if you will, for the Simpsons fans out there. Like it basically gets you to this stage where you're just like, oh, this is some like absurd future that if you put one guy with a gun showed up in it, they would not know what to do. They wouldn't know how to handle themselves.
Fair point.
And that is what and it's because they're all trying to be PC. So that's where my issue is. But like at the same time, I'm enchanted by the idea of poking fun at some of these ideas. I'm enjoying
sure.
that.
Absolutely, and sometimes that shit works. It's like some of the shit, or if it's on South Park or whatever, some shit that I should not be laughing at. But I'm like, well, if it's funny, it's funny, and if it makes you think, it makes you think. Like maybe it's not a shining example, but maybe everything shouldn't be. And it is people's opinions. You know what I mean? You live in a world where you don't agree with most fucking people. So
I
to
think
see
that what the things I don't enjoy about that philosophy are pretty muted compared to the silliness on screen, compared to the half credit charges each time somebody uses a curse word, which when I first came up with the idea when we were talking about this episode, Gary and I was like, every time one of you curses, I'm going to jump in and be like, oh, you owe one half credit.
But then they never really break down the whole credit thing. Maybe they didn't have time, but I'm like, well, how severe is one credit? You know what I mean? Like,
We don't know what the money situation is.
I don't know what anything
Society
costs.
works on credits,
Yeah.
and that if you break the law, you lose credits. So it's
Social credit. It's like the Chinese shit.
yeah, and then like the only other thing we really know about that system is that there's a chip inside of
Right.
people.
And that there's like like I guess a constant surveillance state type of thing going
A
on.
complete surveillance state, but that's
Yeah.
so the surveillance state docks you pay for being
Right.
a citizen.
Which, interestingly enough, was only really happening in buildings because like you could be outside and curse and like nothing would be.
Right.
So
There was-
surveillance state wasn't complete. It was kind
They
of
tried really hard to like keep that thing happening the whole time at the right
Sure.
times and make rules for it. And then after like by about 45, 50 minutes in, they're like, fuck, I don't want to
Yeah.
do this anymore.
some shit
Well, they
slips. A couple
can't-
of them get by.
Because there's some in the background that you can barely hear, like when
Yes,
he's
and they're
walking through the
funny bits.
museum.
Music.
It's
And that's
quieter
funny
because
as
it's a
hell.
museum. Is that he's like trying to break it, and he's like, ah, shit! And you're very small in the background.
Way in the
You
back.
have been fined one half credit, and at some point, he's doing it so much that you can barely hear it, but it says there's like a number of violations you can
Yeah.
have before it's like, hey,
The police are coming.
you stay right where you are. We're going to reprimand you.
And then they pull up to
You're going to
reprimand
get
you and like
you're
don't
going
do
to
shit.
talking to.
Like when he's getting arrested at the end, like arrested and shit. He's like, wait, bro, but you're under arrest. He's like, all right, yeah, sure, whatever. Just like walks away. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, the police really, really like. And when dude was like, we're police, we never needed to use force. Like we don't know how to.
Rob
do that.
Schneider's only line in the film that matters
Yeah.
is like, "We're police. Like we're not equipped to handle violence."
He was unlikable in that.
Yeah.
Jack Black was in that shit, which I didn't.
Hot minute.
Just
Yeah,
for a
no.
briff moment.
No lines, nothing. He was just in there.
Jesse the Body Ventura is in it for a
Fact.
hot minute.
It's a great movie. To me,
He,
it's a great.
I love
fucking
that.
film.
That's
I
what
love-
pushes us over
Jesse
the top.
Ventura,
is
you got
Jesse
Jack
Ventura.
Black, you
Listen,
got-
Jack
No.
Black, Dennis Leary, all these guys are good.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock. Great, sure, whatever you
Whatever.
Wonderful.
Jesse who?
Jesse the Body
Jesse the Body
Ventura,
Ventura.
is barely in this movie, and that's what puts it over the top.
We got ourselves a film.
If you
First of all, I love that because, like, again, and I don't mean to harp on this, but like, you kind of went back to earlier, just being like, you're not a person who watched a lot of movies, and so like, this isn't like the words, but the fact is like, no, this one hits. I'm like, I appreciate it because on a generational level, for me, everything about this movie was designed to entertain 13-year-old, 14-year-old me.
Mhm.
I
Dennis
get that
Leary
feeling.
in this film, we all had illicit copies of his comedy album, No Cure for Cancer, where that one bit where he's just going off about the things that he wants and
Yeah,
that
he just
Cuban
does his
cigar.
act.
It's just his act from the
Yeah.
comedy album.
Okay, I want to smoke a cigar with him. Okay.
Yeah.
Trash.
And they were
That-
like, we got the perfect guy. Like, great casting. Like, you know, like they
No, they-
put him in the right role with that.
Apparently, they had like somebody else in that part, and then when it came to him, they're like, we have to rewrite this part so he can do his bits.
Right, so we can do bits.
That's
like
sick.
they
Yeah,
they were
put
fans.
They put
So
like a real comedy element.
1993, but 1993, I'm 14 years old. This movie is prime for me. It's got that stuff. It's making fun of things like political correctness, which I have no idea
It
is
has
being
just a
weaponized against
sliver,
me.
just like a split second of boobies.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
crazy.
Just to be
When I
like, hey, 14-year-old boys, don't go anywhere.
A 1992 penthouse centerfold,
Yes.
by the way. Her
No
first
way.
nude on screen, yeah.
for absolutely no reason for 2 seconds, I'm like, that is amazing.
And his reaction was
14-year-old
like,
me.
Yeah.
and then he just walks away.
He was geeked about Sandra Bullock, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. They were
He was
that
geeked.
the love story right there was
How could you
so
not be
fire.
geeked by Bullock?
Come
Oh
on,
my god,
bro.
she's amazing. in
Bullock
this.
is so geekable.
Every scene, I'm like, man, yo, she looking good. And then the next scene, I'd be like, damn, she really looking good. When they went to Taco Bell and she had the dress on, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
I'm sorry, where did they go?
Or Pizza Hut.
It was
No,
Pizza
it's Taco Bell.
No.
It was Pizza Hut.
No, it's Taco Bell.
It's Pizza
In the
Hut.
one I watched, it was Taco Bell, but I
Taco
saw
Bell.
the note on that, and they said when they screened it in other movies, they had to change
I
it.
got the Pizza Hut one
No way.
because I don't. To put it in your terms,
Don't incriminate yourself.
no, hold on. To put it in your terms, I don't use the platform.
Oh, okay. I feel you.
So
Right.
somehow, some
I use
way,
the
my
platform.
perfectly legal
Yeah.
platform that I use
Right.
was like, it was Pizza Hut, and so I kept saying things about Pizza Hut, and Gary,
text.
because we're both stoned watching this movie. Gary was like, at one point after we're on the second watch, very end of the movie, I said something about Pizza Hut, and he was like, "Why do you keep bringing
When the
up
fuck
Pizza
was there a
Hut?
Pizza Hut in the that's
Where
fucking
is the
tough.
Pizza Hut?" And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? It's the only
That's the only-
restaurant in town. That's
That's
it.
funny.
They won the war. It's only Pizza Hut."
So did you get the version then? Because I've literally reread every single note because I noticed that it was doing that. I'm like, did you get the version where she says Bruce Lee instead of Jackie Chan?
Absolutely.
That's fine.
You got
I
Bruce
got
Lee
it all.
one?
Yeah, I got it all.
Shit.
They did. I don't
Damn.
remember why they had to. I know why they had to do it.
European sensibilities.
Right, European sensibilities. They thought pizza would go over better than
Taco Bell was not a thing in Europe.
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't
And
know
Bruce
what it
Lee
was.
Pizza Hut
bigger.
was Pizza
It was
Hut was
there.
international. Pizza Hut was
It was there.
international.
Bruce
So they
Lee
said
is like
Pizza
Michael
Hut.
Jackson. Everybody knows Bruce Lee around the world. So
And they
like,
couldn't
Jackie
say
Chan
something
is-
like McDonald's because Taco Bell and Pizza Hut are owned by the same corporation.
And Jackie Chan had was still not like a superstar
Yeah.
everywhere.
There's no rush hour yet.
everywhere. We weren't there yet. But I want to point out like how important those decisions are because I won't even say this film was over budget because that's putting it mildly. Any figures you've seen about how much this movie cost are wrong.
Interesting.
They're going to tell you that it was 42 million, 50 million, 57 million. This film is 77 million dollars.
Damn.
I learned that from reading
made it
things
back.
later on. No, well, hold on.
Huh.
So they
hold
filmed
on.
so $77 million on this fucking movie, like over 110 days of shooting from an original shooting schedule of like 56 days. Because Joel Silver is like, I want more action in this, and so that requires more time. They've got like one of the best like stunt coordinators in the business at the
the
time.
fights were on point.
Yeah, they've got
were.
the stunts crew is amazing. It's organized by one of the best. A guy again, his credits are phenomenal credits.
There's also some
But-
gore add on too.
Yo,
Yeah.
when they murk dude at the end of like the frozen blood, I was
Yeah,
like,
there's
yo,
also an
Oh, frozen
eyeball.
blood.
that was a great
Eyeball
kill.
sit shot.
There's an
Like,
eyeball
oh,
thing where
that's
he
great.
cuts out
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
eyeball.
Mhm.
It's there's
it was violent,
some pretty wild violence in this movie.
But
but the fights
understand,
were on point.
yeah, but understand that like they knew they had the recipe for success in this thing. So they were not going to alienate foreign markets
Yeah.
by having things that wouldn't land.
Sure,
So this film on a basically a $77 million
$7 million
budget
damn dollars is crazy.
does 58 million domestically.
Okay,
So by
But
domestic standards, it's a flop. It also is the number one movie in America. It's open weekend, so it is popular, but it has an outsized, enormous budget. However, when you
Mhm.
factor in the rest of the
it
world, the
worked.
grand total is $159 million.
Yeah. The
goddamn,
rest of the world
Stallone
came
did it.
through for Demolition Man.
That's
So,
incredible.
so keep that in mind.
They showed up almost as hard as Americans for a
But
Stallone.
if you had the fucking
And
Taco Bell and shit, maybe you don't get that 100
The
bill.
joke doesn't land.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
understand this joke. There's
The
because this
best
is
part is
before
that
like
I sent Gary video of it, and
yeah,
it's
to see the picture.
done by superimposed images, and just like they had the actors come back in and be like Pizza Hut, and they don't like it's
They
they don't do any
ADR it.
special cuttings. It's just them, and they just they foley it in. They just throw it in there.
That's
Pizza Hut. It's
Pizza
not them
Hut.
saying Pizza Hut. Like
And they're
it's
saying Taco Bell. So
Whoa.
like,
the lips say Taco Bell, but the
Yeah.
sound is
Mad
Pizza Hut.
funny.
It's crazy.
there's another part where he
The
says
food is the same. The food is the same though. The actual
Right.
picture, the
where
food lands
instead
like
of
the
saying
same picture.
I could go for a burrito right now,
Oh,
I
right.
think he says like I could go for a slice of pizza right now or something like that.
Interesting.
And it's so far out of sync. I thought before I figured this out, before we started talking about it, I thought that I was just watching a janky version. It was fucked up.
'Cause
And
you
sometimes it would like time in and out. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Whenever they like talk about
Some
pizza.
dude uploaded it and put his own thing there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I have no
LimeWire
idea what's going
days.
on. Until we figured out that was the European version of the movie. I was watching some European version.
That is some again, great forward thinking, just like with the script, just like with the actors. It's
That's
like, dog, you
that's
considered a lot of
genius.
shit.
Like,
That's
listen,
genius.
we can't risk this running joke. We can't risk it. We got to make sure people want to see this.
'Cause if we're making
we ain't
jokes-
taking a bath on this movie.
We've already made the decision to make jokes. You know what I mean? We
Oh,
could
yeah.
have
Yeah.
had the action movie, so now the joke must land. That's some good. That's some damn good, whatever, directing, writing, or like the team was
Almost
like,
marketing at that point.
sure.
Well, would it surprise you then to learn that the director of this film, this is his first movie?
No way.
His
Was it also his last?
That would be
well,
crazy. He only made one
The
movie.
Cabbages curse.
short answer
Yo.
is yes.
Yeah. Long answer.
Long
is-
answer is yes, but. So let me just break it down for real quick why this is what it is. Because this is a huge movie stars,
Yeah.
huge budget. How do you put a first time director behind it? Well, this guy is by name, he was an Italian Canadian named Marco Brambilla, and I'm probably saying it wrong because I'm saying it like like I would in Spanish rather than
Right.
in Italian. But Marco Brambilla, he was a guy who did commercials.
Okay.
Big budget TV commercials. And one thing that we've learned doing these episodes, particularly about the 90s, but also into the 2000s stuff, is a lot of guys who became film directors started out by doing commercials or music videos. So
Interesting.
Hype Williams obviously was a go-to
Right.
music video guy before he got to do Belly. And like David Fincher was, before he did Seven, was a person who did like commercials. And David Fincher recommended this guy to the right production company, to Joel Silver and all them, and basically got him the role for this. Now he has an excellent cinematographer.
Weird.
His director of photography, his cinematographer is like this guy Alex Thompson, who's a veteran since like the 60s, and he did like 80s, 90s stuff like Raw Deal, Alien 3, and Cliffhanger. So like he's got a very competent guy who's made these movies for decades by
Wow.
his side. and he's got, he's like the actors like him. Stallone likes him.
Mm.
Snipes likes him. Stone likes him because he's like he's actually wants me to act. He's actually
Yeah.
interested in me actually acting rather than just punching shit.
Yeah.
So
That's a
it's
perfect
just it
storm.
it but it never happens that way that you have
Mm.
a first time director fall into this and serendipitously does your thing. This film isn't over budget because he didn't know what he was doing, although that was some of the criticisms that it got
Yeah.
while it was being made and why like the narrative around the delays. But like they started filming this thing in February 8th, 1993. And this film
Mm.
came out in October of 1993. They
Pretty
made
good
this
turnaround.
happen.
Wow.
And he never did another feature film again.
It's the
That
Cabbages curse.
is,
We've covered so many films where we look it up after we watch, and we're like, "Oh my God, this guy never worked here. This person never got to do this again." There are some where like the whole cast and crew, you just don't see them after this movie. It's
I mean,
crazy.
because you know what though, like especially with the hurdles that they faced, you got to imagine that it takes a lot out of you, and it was a success, and you're like, do I really want to risk that all again? Potentially lose everything, you know what I mean? I'm sinking my own money into the movie and like all type of shit for a labor of love, and it doesn't hit. Like you have to be having those thoughts
Yeah.
after you're making a hit
How
that big.
far off are we from Copland?
Oh, we were probably about 5 years. I think it's 98 is
I don't think.
Copland.
I mean, I'm thinking out loud, but like I really feel like. I mean, it's not like this movie ruined any of the actors.
No, no, no,
Snipes did
no.
all kinds of shit after this.
No, so because Blade is like 98, 99. It's
Yeah,
somewhere in the
yeah,
latter half of
late
the 90s.
90s.
So like he becomes a
He's on
fucking
top the whole
he
90s.
goes from
Yeah,
like star to superstar. And
yeah,
the thing that fails him ultimately is he didn't pay his taxes and that fucks him up.
that's a goddamn shame.
That's
Which,
what happens with
listen, hero status.
but
We should all be
Yeah,
doing it.
But
that's
look,
a
we fuck the
fact.
IRS. Fuck the IRS. But
What are they even
Stallone,
doing with the damn taxes?
no, now I
Frito,
don't know
right?
what
He's
to
not
do.
locked up or anything.
I don't. He's been free. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
He was
yeah.
in the latest Deadpool movie. He got to play Blade again. It was fun.
That's right.
Like he got to like do his thing, and he's still making movies and doing stuff. He's just like he's on his own wave, and I appreciate that. Stallone,
I've
however,
always
like
kind of loved that guy.
Stallone
Oh,
made
he's so
some
easy
real
to love.
stinkers, but like made some real stinkers like kind of post Copland, so by the 2000s, and I've seen more of them than I should have. I've seen a lot of his very bad films, incling Bullet in the Head, which is
Cool. You
truly
saw
one of
Bullet
the.
in the Head?
It's so bad. I
Why
watched
did
it
you do
twice.
that?
I watched it twice. It's
What
so
what
bad.
year is that? What is
That's
this?
in the like the I guess it's probably in the mid 2000s, mid to
Two
Mm.
early
times?
2010s. Twice, yeah. Not concurrently, but like not consecutively, but like I did see it. I watched a lot of his films. They're very bad. I watched his Get Carter remake. I've seen a
Oh,
lot of that stuff. But we're not talking about Stallone because it's Wesley
It's Wesley
Snipes.
Snipes
it's the
time.
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley
It's
Snipes.
easier to focus on Stallone because of the flops.
Well, but it's also
Honestly, Snipes' life flopped, but his picks were never bad. Like most of these films were great.
he
And
To
makes
then
Wong Fu was
fucking
widely sort of made fun of because
no,
of
but
his.
it's also like I haven't watched that film in so long as and I've watched it as
I've
an
actually
adult.
never
So
seen that one.
as an adult, so I'm like, I don't want to I don't want to say whether it's a good or bad film because I really can't remember. But I will say like he made some choices and when in his film choices, he picked so many good things. To the point where like they did the movie about Eddie Murphy did a movie for Netflix about Dolomite
Mm.
where he plays Rudy Ray Moore and he's like basically trying to be like it's the making of Dolomite and Wesley Snipes plays a significant
Yeah,
character in that movie and is out fucking standing.
he's
he always
great.
is. He's
He's
great.
he's
He's great.
great.
I mean, like, he's Major League is one of my favorite movies. He's wonderful in that movie. He like helps make that movie so good.
He's
Never seen it.
wonderful in this movie.
He's
He
wonderful
is
in this movie. He's
I keep
Agreed.
believable.
saying and he's an inspiration.
He
He's an
outshines
inspiration.
everybody. He comes in and is like, "Listen, this thing is flawed, but we're all here. We all want to do it. I'm gonna leap around like a maniac
Yeah,
and have a
he really
blast."
pushed it.
Things were funny. He laughed at his own jokes.
Yeah,
You know, like when he's gaining cognizance of what's going on around him, he like would say it. He'd be like, "Wait a minute. Hold
yeah,
up. Hold up. They can't stop me from doing anything."
and then just would proceed like he was
There's
fucking.
one scene that I think really makes his character the most lovable is in the middle of this like evil Lex Luthor Superman speech that the I forget what they call him, the governor, the mayor, the what is he?
Oh yeah,
Cocteau.
like the
The
cocktail.
Cocteau, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So Cocteau is giving this speech about like his plan
yeah,
to like make this, and it's not even a plan. He's basically just like, I just want more control,
yeah. He was just
Yeah.
talking
and it's
shit.
hard to get because everybody's being good. So I needed something bad so that I could gain more control. And in the middle of the speech, Wesley Snipes just makes this look like he's so bored, and he picks up the gun knowing he can't shoot him
Right,
because it's programmed at him, and he's just like,
right.
ah, ah.
Like just so
He's
you know, I
really
was
trying, like, maybe if I just bang my hand hard enough, it'll fucking fire this pistol and kill this ass. I hate this
yeah, I
man.
hate that. He really
I
hated that.
hate this man.
And the kill was great too. Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh, like you know what I'm saying? They got me, yo. Hook, line, and sinker, beginning, middle, end. I'm like, every scene brings it.
Everything with Snipes involved was infinitely just better than everybody else.
Yeah,
So yeah,
he was running shit.
my biggest criticism of this film is not enough Wesley
Not
Snipes.
enough
Not
Snipes
enough Wesley
character.
Snipes.
Real
His
talk.
character is the best character of the film. Like the Stallone stuff is made up for the fact by that Sandra Bullock is so enjoyable in
Absolutely.
her role.
The only part of this movie that got nominated for a Razzie was her.
For a
She was
Razzie,
nominated for a
Razzie.
Razzie for this performance,
the disrespect is
which I think is wild disrespectful.
that's unreal.
Leary deserved it more than her. Stallone deserved it more than
100
her.
They
It was
absolutely picked
fine.
on her. They picked on her for that. And like
Really?
the Razzies
She was
we-
just in a movie we didn't like. People didn't like this movie back then.
and
But
like
Remember, it flopped of sorts.
but
So like,
Right.
but keep in mind like it's like the Razzies thinks that they are gonna zing or whatever. They give that to like I forget who they actually gave the Razzie to that year. Like it's it was up against like some really terrible films, but I think it gave it to I want to say Faye Dunaway
Wow.
for a film that like I've never even heard of.
Who
Like, they
gives
gave
out
it,
Razzies anyway? Because I just know it's like a hater award type shit. But
that's
like,
all
I'm
it
like,
is. That
Like,
there's
why
no
are you
authority
hating
to
on
it.
Sandra goddamn Bullock right now? Like, give
But
me
also,
your tripping.
these are the same people like the people who were involved in making this film, including screenwriters and other people like were involved in films that the Razzies were really excited to shit on, like Hudson Hawk, for example. Like they were so thrilled to be able to go onto this stuff. Like and really
she's
lay on it.
interesting in this
But
because
she's good in
she's
this.
not been like this is the first foray into anything other than love stories,
Yeah,
kind of rom-com, but not like
We
the
are
typical rom-com.
She's not a superstar yet. She's not a star yet
Not
because
at all.
because Speed is the following year.
Right. This is like a big role for her, a first big role.
Yes.
And I feel like
Little
doesn't it
wacky.
feel like something the Razzies would do is go after a first time shot at the
Yeah.
big Hollywood crown.
That's some hater shit. One
and
thing
she
about
and she just kind of is like funny and kind of a dumber character and like
yeah, like let her rock.
makes
The whole
fun of
point is
herself and
she's
yeah,
she's the personification of the society that we're in. She's done. If anything, she's smart because she was like doing the
Absolutely.
research. She was the person for the job. She was getting shit done. She whooped a couple people ass. Like
she was kind of the best cop, and that made her totally wrong for like doing what he need. Him knocking her out
yeah,
before he goes and has the big fight. I was like, damn, you know what? That is the baller move.
come on.
And she doesn't come
would've-
help him at the end. They're like, we're going to give you the two superheroes. The cops are out of this.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We're not going to do this. Old school rules.
Right.
These are jail rules. You die. You
Two-man
come
enter,
in here,
one-man
you
leave.
die. Yeah, exactly.
I think I think speaking about the budget is mad funny because I was on the rewatch, I'm like, wow, for the first explosion to be that fire in the opening scene and the last explosion to be so shitty, I'm like, damn, y'all actually ran out of bread, like right there.
Listen, they call him Demolition Man. We're not
Right.
here to like.
How many
build
times
things.
they call him that? How many
This
times they
isn't
call him that?
Habitat for
They did
fucking
call him that a
humanity
lot.
here, folks.
3 references, 4
Three
references to
references they
be
did it,
the
yeah.
three.
That
three,
is
okay.
super crazy.
Not to mention title cards, not to mention the song Demolition Man by Sting,
Sting?
which,
Hell
by
yeah.
the way, it is a wild ride, that song.
I didn't listen
If
to
you
it. I just
haven't
heard it in the
heard
credits.
that, there's two versions.
3.
Three versions of the song.
If you
Sting was
haven't
really fucking with
heard,
it.
if you haven't heard this version that is tied to this film in a while, please give
Or
this
ever.
a shot because he tried to make that thing sound like a machine or something. It's so dumb.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out. That's going to be the first thing that I do when we conclude this. I'm
Is
gonna
listen
check
to
it.
that jam. If you can sample that jam,
Oh, I bet.
that
And
would be
then
I'd be
incredible.
happy to.
Oh,
I've
after
always
you
wanted
I
to
listen
want
to
to
sample
hear
Sting.
that.
I've
after you
always
listen
wanted to
to
sample
that,
Sting and get away with it because of how he did P Diddy. Like, he fucked P Diddy obviously for
yeah,
many,
fuck P.
many,
Diddy,
many,
but-
many reasons. But Sting fucked him like I hate when artists do that. You know what I mean? They're like, all right, well that's a cool song and shit, but I now own 100% of it.
which is why I unlike so many people who cape for Steely Dan, I have a vendetta against Steely Dan
Did they
for
do
what
that?
they did that to a rap classic, and the Peter Guns
They
basically
took
Torturing
100% of
Peter
that.
Guns,
100% of the song,
100%.
100%.
I thought they were and then I seen because I was watching the Asia documentary not that long ago,
Mm.
and he's
Oh no,
talking
Steely
about
Dan was cutthroat behind the scenes. If you watch interviews with anyone who has worked with them, even in the capacity of like gone into the studio to
like
be on their
players
record, the players are like they're real particular.
gotta
They
separate the
want a
art from the
particular
artist.
thing. So like people who are absolute pros, like Michael McDonald, you'll see him, they'll talk and you're like, well, those guys want something away, and they won't let you stop until it happens,
But
and that's
that's
just
why
what
you
it is.
get
Yeah,
what you get.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you want it, if you don't, it's just like with James
Studio
Brown, man.
rats,
James,
man.
like James Brown, be like, all right, well,
Yeah.
get the fuck out. If you don't like the way that I'm treating you, don't be in my band
You don't
anymore.
have to be in my band
You
anymore.
can leave whenever you want. And everybody's like, yes, Mr. James Brown. I'm sorry, Mr. James Brown.
Yeah.
Please stop
Because it's
stealing
such
my
a
money.
it's such an opportunity. It's such a cool thing to do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fact. It's a
Yeah.
game to be played, and that's why, again, going back to the director of this film, I really fuck with that. He played that shit and got out. He won big at the casino on the
Yeah.
first time he ever went and just left.
I will.
Yeah,
We won't sample snitch if you do it. We're not going to
No.
bring it up.
Oh, it's
What-
all good, bro. I don't give a shit. They can
But
come
what I
back,
will
bro.
say-
You
what
want
I will
100% of
say-
nothing? You got it.
What I will say, well, we'll see if we can make those numbers a little higher.
Yeah, a little bit over nothing. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully,
We're
and shout out
trying.
everybody that bought anything from me at any point in life. But you feel what I'm saying.
Go buy Living Room on Bandcamp. Okay.
Buy that
do it.
shit. It's good.
It's good. So, but like so go back, listen to the Sting version, and
100%.
I'm going to ask you to take 15 minutes of your time. Listen to the Sting version, which I think is like 7 hours long. But like it's like
It's so
then
long.
then you can go back to the original version of the song that Sting did with the Police.
It's a police song.
So it's originally a Police song, and it's
He
much more like
remixes, sort of re-records.
it's like almost sounds like a kind of has a real like second wave ska sort of feel to it, sort of like which feels very appropriate for the Brits, obviously.
Oh, for
And
sure.
then go in and then really treat yourself to a third version of the song, which was done by Grace Jones on the Nightclubbing album.
You're kidding me.
I'm dead serious.
That's real. Yes.
So
I only
15
knew
minutes
of
of your
the
time
police.
to those three.
I
I'm
only
gonna
knew
do
of the
that.
police and Grace Jones versions until we're credit watchers. Until the credits started, and I was like, wait a minute. Is this Demolition Man? Like, is this Demolition Man? Oh God, it's so dumb the way he
There's
did
so
it.
much lore. This is a great pick because like I had never seen this movie before, but like learning all of these like little side missions about this movie and the people involved with it, and like that's a I feel like it was a good point in everybody's career.
Yeah,
Like, it helped
everybody
everybody out.
except for Lori Petty, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, she
Can we
fucked
talk?
up.
Can we talk real quick about one thing?
Please.
Let's.
Freezing people
Mhm.
as a punishment. I'm not for it, but I also just
But-
kind of don't understand it. Like, what's the punishment is you wake up in a
In
wild
where,
new
right.
future.
Right. I think
You know what I
well,
mean?
They gave him 70 years.
Why
What-
70 years is a long time, right? Like it's just
It
like
is.
it's a whole human existence. So they're basically like your punishment is that when you wake up, everyone will be dead and you'll
Well,
be in
Yeah,
this
and you're
place.
gonna have
I'm
to
gonna put an
reintegrate.
asterisk on the end of that for a second. We'll go back to that.
Yeah,
I
that
mean, that's
is-
the same. A 70-year sentence is that. That's what it is when they put you in jail for multiple life sentences. They're like, when you come out, the world will be a totally different place and you will have to adjust to it again.
Yeah, they didn't. I guess. Well.
As
I
a
think-
seamstress.
So do we think is this a space saving thing?
No,
Is
it's
it
a money saving thing Because
Okay.
if
Is
you're
it
frozen, we figured out how to freeze people, so that's already free. We got the technology. We can freeze you. We don't have to feed you or anything. That's like somebody else's problem. It's
feel like
hyper
the repair
capitalism.
costs are or the repair costs are going to be wild. You think
No, no,
air
no.
That's a good
conditioner
point.
repair people charge a lot? Wait till the cryogenic thing
Yeah, how many
starts
of them did they
sputtering a little
have?
bit. Because I'm like, listen, if you don't pay me what I want, you are
Right.
going to be overrun with fucking criminals. We have the
Like we could just let
highest
them out.
criminal population, like the highest incarceration rates by far and away.
Interesting.
There's the
It's like a weapon. It's like a
cryogenics is
nuke.
a terrible idea, folks. Don't get
No,
ideas.
no. That you are definitely underestimating the cravenness of the prison industrial complex because this is exactly.
I'm saying
because
please
no,
don't. I
because
think this is a bad idea.
I'm saying
Right,
because
right, right.
our friend just a few moments ago he just said that they don't have to feed these people,
Right.
and it's like they
Wait, if
figure
you
out a way.
cryogenically freeze them, you don't have to feed them.
No,
They're
he's doing his
frozen.
thing.
You think they thaw out Walt Disney and put a few drops
Right.
of fucking nutrients in his mouth or something?
No, no, no,
Fuck
no. I
I think that
understand
they
that.
should.
They should. He probably needs it at this point. He's on old versions of this cryotechnology.
Man, bust that man out the shit. Is he still
There's so
frozen?
much I have to learn about cryotechnology before I sign on, though. I'm sorry.
Is anybody
Yeah.
else
But-
frozen? Like, is he the only guy?
I think there's some people who are. It's and that's such a '90s concept too. Is fucking cryogenics. But
That was
Jeff,
a big deal.
But
Yeah.
Jeff, I want to touch on something because there's one of the.
I think
the
freezing
things that-
someone that way is going to kill them. That's all I'm saying. It's a death sentence. It
Clearly
should just be
not.
a death sentence.
No,
Clearly
man,
not.
because it's not a regular freeze. You're not just making it real cold. There's whatever the word cryogenic means has some other qualities to it.
Stopping
the
the
genic,
human
the
heart.
genic. It's
And-
Stopping the human heart
Well,
is
no,
a
remember they
big
put the little
fucking
patch on
deal.
him.
right,
Put
exactly.
the patch
see?
on his chest
But
and one
that
on his
means
head.
it's pumping blood, and that means you can't be frozen. That's not how the human body works, Doc. That's just
Well,
not how it works.
let's remember that this is a '93 Stallone.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
No, I
Wesley
understand.
Snipes
I
flick.
understand.
Jeff,
I like
like-
to poke holes.
But I
in these
feel
things.
you though.
Yeah,
That's a
but-
very good series
Thank
of
you. I
points.
appreciate it.
But Jeff,
I
the next thing
appreciate
you're next thing you're telling me is that somebody can't learn
Like you can
how
freeze
to,
it. You can cryogenically freeze a dead person. You can because they're dead. You don't have to worry about that shit.
Was Walt
When
Disney
they're
dead when they
alive?
froze him? He walked in
mean,
that bitch alive and they
Good
froze him.
question.
Real talk, I have no idea if he actually is frozen or if this was one of those like urban legends we all got fed at a certain point in our lives. It's like
I would
we're
not
like,
be
For the
surprised.
purposes of this podcast, I
Yes.
think he should. It was dead. Yeah, he's
he's
frozen.
dead. He's dead.
I
And
don't
I'd
want
say
to
he's-
know
and I say
anything.
he's
I
alive.
want that.
What
And I
if
say
they,
he's
nah,
alive.
they're gonna unfreeze him.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna be Walt Disney still. He's gonna be confused.
Yeah, this country has to get just Nazi enough before they bring him back.
Right. That's what
But
he was
that's what
waiting
I'm-
for, wasn't
Oh.
it?
Like we're almost
That's
there.
what he was waiting for.
Fuck.
He knew some shit.
That is a wild ending to that story.
He needs
Yeah,
a
that's
fourth
a
right
fact.
Disney comes back to lead us
for the fourth
lead
right.
back to the
Oh.
Snow White version of the Americas.
You know what, dude? It's
God
just
damn
crazy
it.
enough to literally happen. And
God damn it! They got
Demolition.
I don't know how they
want to
did it, but the
see it.
bastards pulled it off.
I
Demolition
don't want
Man
to see
2.
it, but if I have to be alive to see it, it'll be an
We're
interesting-
writing Demolition Man too. This is a great podcast.
That's right. They unfreeze Walt Disney
It's
and have him
Stallone
whoop some ass.
against Walt Disney.
Fucking literal actual Disney. That movie will do.
Exactly.
Oh, I also want to
Numbers.
talk about the cop that is
We'll talk
there.
about it.
The cop that is specifically there to come in and tell stories about the past.
Yeah, I loved him.
Oh,
That was my
fucking-
guy.
He just comes in and is like, "Hi, everybody."
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. Like,
actually, I can answer that question. I was alive
Yeah.
then.
there was
Bill
some-
Cobbs.
Bill
Bill Cobbs,
Cobbs.
who we're supposed to believe
Recently
is also
deceased, correct?
yeah, I think so.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
RP if not
If you're
my
still
bad.
alive, Bill Cobbs, shout
Oh,
shout
Jesus,
still
out
if
to
alive,
he
the
was
let's
boys.
still
get
alive,
you in the cryo
I didn't
container
say
now.
he did.
Let's get him in the
Cryo tanks
Him in the
now.
hot seat.
We need him in the future to explain shit to people. He
Facts.
absolutely. We're supposed to believe that the guy that Stallone talks to in the helicopter is
Grows
him.
up to be.
It's him.
Huh.
Yeah.
And I love that because I
Yeah,
didn't
it's-
catch that. The first time I watched it around, I'm like, I wonder how these two guys know each other. And the
The
second
one-
time around, after I see the credits, I'm like, this is how they know each other.
He just like walks up. He's like, "Ah, yes, John Spartan."
Yeah. Like it was all
He just
chill.
like-
Like
he's like, "Ah, what a tangled web we weave." Starts in a
I dug
long
that.
story about the 90s.
I would have watched a whole movie that's just this guy's life.
Absolutely, dude.
No
Absolutely.
question.
Being a
The
fucking
spinoff.
cop in that fucking helicopter at the start to being like I'm really gonna retire at
When
some
we're
point
through
soon.
writing Demolition 2, we have to
Laid
write.
back. Oh my
Oh, the
god.
spinoff.
We have to have like the son of Bill Cobb, the son of that person,
Yeah.
Oh,
Play that.
Bill.
That
has
would
to
be
come
some
in
good
and just
shit.
tell stories about the 90s.
About the 90s and the
That
2000s.
was
And yeah, like some.
Well,
yeah,
my father told me once
that's
about a
fucking
man
lit.
named John Spartan, I believe his name was.
Right. And like, woo, 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 like a lot of flashbacks and like
Yeah.
shit going on. Yeah. Like
But that-
callbacks.
That's
to,
also
yeah.
why, actually, I'm going to be honest, Bill Cobb's presence in this film as
Yes.
seeming the only person who actually lived through the 20th century that's on screen here makes Dennis Leary's presence all the more absurd because
Very
all
true.
of Dennis Leary's reference points are 20th century. Yet he's a guy in his mid 30s. He would have been an infant at that
Yeah,
time.
they get docked a small point. That was
It's-
a good
they
inconsistency
absolutely
you
should.
just pointed out right there.
It shows the weirdness of Bullock's character where she's sort of
Yeah.
on that line of like she's obsessed with that world, but like doesn't know how it works.
Which is
I
why
want to know
Lethal
how
Weapon
Dennis
3 is
Leary
on the wall.
knows how that works. Lethal Weapon 3.
Yeah.
Well, let's also note though, if they decided to go live in the sewers, we don't know. Do we know when they decided to go do that?
No, we don't know exactly when
So
that
maybe
We don't
they
really
had
have
a lot of
backstory.
90s reference points down there with them on VHSs and shit. 'Cause
Relics.
They were living in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That
Maybe
would
they
have been a
had a
pretty
VHS tape.
interesting way to like explain things, but
They don't
We
like
didn't
to
get
no, they don't like to explain things in this movie. Like one thing they don't explain in this film is where is Sylvester Stallone's daughter?
They
Where
never
is
got back
Sylvester
to that
Stallone's
and
father?
about. Well, no, although he did say he didn't want to know.
he did.
that
He was,
But
like,
where is
really
she?
hammered it home.
That's, you know what? I think that was deliberate. I think where she is like, wait, where is she? Because she could be one place. She could be in the underground sewer for all we
I
know.
mean,
Like,
listen, he is claiming right now to become a new leader, ushering in an old time period into a world that we don't know how the citizens feel about the system.
yeah, there's not. Too
We
much
know what the
outside-
90s dudes feel,
right?
and we know what the fascist like leadership feels, but we don't get any of the workers or none of them
Well,
speak.
The
None of them.
actually when he goes to the booth initially, when Wesley Snipes goes up to the booth and the guy's like, "I'm feeling very sad." I feel like
Yeah,
that's like
yeah.
their only peek into it. Like maybe
That's
these
it.
people are like they're not feeling it, but they got to pretend like they're feeling it.
And the computer spits back basically like, dog, you're
Yeah, like, you're a good
cool.
boy.
You're a good
Yeah.
dude. You bring joy feelings to all that
Yeah.
surround you.
Jojo
And it's a
does.
very canned expression. You know what I mean? It's very canned back and forth. So this is a kind of movie I love where like they're taking on the future, but they're using the computers that are sitting in front of them. Those are
Yes.
1993 computers dressed up
Yeah.
like Alien is
Yeah.
one of my favorite examples of this. Of like, look, I don't know what the future is going to be like. All I know is we've got 150 billion Christmas lights, and I want to
Yeah.
use every single fucking one of them.
Hell
And this
yeah.
And I
Computer
want them
runs
all to
MS
blink at
DOS.
different times. Exactly. And these things like take a second or two to like compile an answer, and like it's very past retrofuturism.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things about the movie is that like I was very nostalgic. That's my like one of my favorite eras of computers.
That's that Matrix shit. Like, you know, like we're like
Computers did cool shit for us then.
Yeah.
Like once we connected them to our souls, we lost it. The thread has been lost. And like
Talk
that
about
brings
it.
back, I'm like, dude, 90, like early mid 90s to late 90s, maybe into 2000, computers were fucking dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were
They were
perfect.
so fucking
We went
sick.
way too far with that.
And then we have absolutely, it's not even too far. We just ruined it. We financialized everything, made it very hard to understand.
Right to repair
use-
is basically obsolete. You can't-
Yeah. And, obsolescence is a big deal. We could go on and on. But that, like those computers, when she's like, it was futuristic because she could just speak to it and it would do what she said. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
she could like override things with codes and stuff. That shit is awesome.
shit was
We
super
don't do that shit anymore. We
Nah,
just fucking
take
go
it
to
back.
websites. We look at
apps.
phones.
You get your
I like,
app.
yeah, exactly. I like this world that they have where like computers are very useful.
I like the cars because you feel the same
Yes.
kind of idea. It's like, yo, this is like a '91 sedan, and it said that I guess they used a bunch of like prototypes for cars that didn't actually end up getting made, which I thought was
Yes.
cool.
This is the police cars are the General Motors ultralight, and they only it was like basically it was designed to be a low emissions car. It never went into major production. So much so
I
that
wonder why.
the film
Right.
itself spent $2 million just on getting the cop cars as the ultralight.
Awesome.
That's sick.
$2 million
It's like the
to get
DeLorean.
for 11 cars. To get 11 cars, $2 million.
Fleeced
Listen,
in
that's a
93.
fleet, bro.
Yeah, they
John,
did it. They did
where
it
are
so
they
you could
now?
blow them up. They're blowing the fuck up, I'm sure.
For sure.
But it was this idea, like
Money
that was
well
their,
spent.
that was like
Absolutely.
General Motors' vision for the future. Like this was the kind of thing. Like we're in the electric car age. But like they're like, how do we lower emissions and how do we make it a sleek vehicle, make it feel futuristic and this and that. And this is
But
your
also have
opportunity.
like snazzy features, like when you're like, I want to drive, it's like, then here's a
Oh.
wheel. Let's go.
Nah, because real life humanity kind of jumped the gun on that shit, and now all those self-driving things are like crashing into each other, and it's all bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
this
cars-
the hype. See, this is the thing. Is this is a real hybrid vehicle where like you can take control of it by like speaking to it. Like it's easy to do. It's very complicated to do in other situations. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yes.
some of the cars on the roads are robots and some are operated by humans, and that's a problem.
That's
Yeah.
the
They're not going to coexist beautifully. I don't
That
think.
is the problem. Until
Yeah.
you give everybody a free car that can drive itself and that is supposed to drive itself, but then at that point, it's like, how stupid can you be, society? Do you really think that that's
And
gonna
it
not
seemed
lead
like
to-
that was everyone's car. Like we were only in the cop car, obviously,
Yeah.
Right,
and the like relic car. I'll
Right.
say.
Yeah, we didn't see inside the
The
other
Chevy.
joints, but a few of them pulled
Yeah.
up. They were looking cool.
Yeah.
It was
Real
like the
talk.
clothes. Everything was fly. Like I was fucking with it. Like
The
you know,
technology of the time is interesting. And for my final question is related to the technology of the time. And I'm happy just to open the floor to what you guys think. How do the three cheese shells work?
It's a freak. Wait, before I answer the question, I have to mention because I've been thinking it and I keep forgetting to say it. That's a sick hat.
Thank you. Yeah.
I fuck with sleep heavy. I've been in a big sleep
I'm
sleep kick.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
I'm a huge Sleep fan and I'm a huge
Good
Simpsons
shit.
fan. This was a lovely gift that was given to me and I cherish it deeply.
It's wonderful. The three seashells was just like it was a bidet, but like I don't know because I don't fucking know.
It was,
It was-
it's a
Hmm?
wash, dry, like moisturized thing in my mind.
Moisturize is fire.
Like it's gonna like take care. You know what I'm saying? It's not
But
just
it's
gonna
the-
like hammer it out and then like blow dry you.
I'll
It's going
tell
to
you what it is.
moisturize
Like,
your
it's gonna-
asshole?
It's gonna be like
Yeah, like
a
after it's
3-step
dry.
system to keep. Yeah, exactly.
It's like I don't know. Either way, I think it's lazy and I think it falls flat. That's my only critique of the movie because it's like you could
A
have put something
powdering sitch, maybe something that's going to like
happy ending,
generally help you with asshole health.
like a gentle kiss,
Right.
something,
Just
something.
a
Just a little. You know what I mean? Have a nice
little,
day.
like perhaps even some sort of smell thing.
Oh,
like
that
some
would be-
sort
that
of
could be a thing.
pleasant smell might be going up there.
I think it was like, damn, bro, like they were sitting in the writers' room forever trying to come up with something, and they came up with that, but it wasn't top notch.
I think you take it. Listen, I thought about this a lot. I think you take them. You have like a thing. You like place them over the toilet, and then when you're done, the number one goes off. The number two,
Right.
dries, and then number three is like
Moisture
just
and a fragrance.
just an
I think he should have
angelic,
fucked with it and
just
found
an
out.
angelic breath of fresh air for your butthole.
How do you do?
Yeah, there you go.
Wow. I had a totally different viewpoint on
What do you
this.
think? What do you think it is?
Like, first of all, I don't know why it didn't fucking occur to me. And it did occur to me on either viewing. And I was stoned for one viewing and not stoned for another one.
I was stoned for both, but I've also seen this movie a lot of times.
Yeah, I've
Fair.
seen it before this too, but like it was years. I didn't think about those three things as buttons.
Hmm.
I immediately started thinking of how would a man wipe his ass with seashells, like
They're
actual.
actual seashells.
Instead of because I'm thinking now from the perspective of this.
So
film
everything
that
else has
is-
been automated, but we've moved from
Yeah,
paper
from
to
the
like
sea.
scraping.
because it's about the future liberals want, and paper. You can't waste paper, and you can't waste water.
But they do waste paper with the
with
the violation.
Yes,
Yeah.
Every
exactly.
time there's a violation, we got to get. We
Hypocrisy
haven't gotten rid of
ha-
ticketing.
mad
in-
wasteful.
That's ridiculous. Just dock it, and then when
Yeah.
you
But
call,
nobody's
it, you're like,
cursing, though.
Why did I get docked? Because you walked into that place and you said, "Ow, my fucking toe."
Maybe that's
Yeah.
nah, that's too
And
much
we
credit. That
fined
can't be
you for
deliberate.
it.
I know the actual truth of it.
It's the
Too. My
future
feeling it.
liberals
Oh, you know the actual
It's
want
the
reason?
future liberals
seashell
want
ass.
is that I imagine just somebody managing
Right.
seashells trying to basically clean their asshole with seashells.
With seashells.
I thought maybe that was what it was about. It was like you grabbing
As silly
clumps of
as
shit.
this shit is, I don't.
No.
But, hey, it's open to interpretation. Like maybe,
It's open to interpretation, and the correct answer is it's open to interpretation
of course.
because
But
came
we
up
can choose which one we think is more likely.
Sure,
And
you're
I
damn
think-
right.
and
That's
I'm
part of
gonna go with
interpretation.
the
Scooping
more
shit out of
likely
our
answer.
assholes.
Yeah, no,
I didn't consider that
Wait, do you
once.
think that they just like
That's
spit
all
on
I
them and then they just
considered.
go shoot?
No, I thought you
How
picked
they
them
work?
up and no, I
Is that
think
they
you
like
picked them up
open
as
up?
no,
Like you sit down and they just go and they
No.
just
that is
no,
I don't
made.
because they're on the side of the toilet.
or are you taking
you have to
them
pick
and
these
like
up
go
with your
you're
hands.
going around and like scraping? Are you
But they looked
scraping
brand
in your
new and
mind?
clean at the time when he had walked in there.
Yeah,
This is fascinating.
I thought about like
Also
maybe-
fascinating that you're equating our two ideas. That
It's the
one
same
of them
thing,
isn't
basically.
more crazy than the other.
It's
Because one
basically-
of them
That is
is
crazy.
completely insane.
That
The
is
other one
crazy.
is imaginative and makes some sense.
It's the only way that I can think of this thing. It's the only solution I have for this. I actually reject both of your options.
I think hey, that's fine because I think it's stupid. I don't
This
think it's
is the future liberals want. It's
Future
like
liberals
everybody
want,
with
right.
their own awful ideas about
about
seashells.
what could be.
Scooping. I'm
You should have
saying,
tried.
I'm just
It
saying,
wouldn't have
scooping,
made
no.
for as good of a joke, but I would have liked to know.
It
It's
stays a
fucked
joke.
up. That
It's
whole
just a joke.
room. That whole room is like, and not one person is like, "Hey man, welcome me over here for a
he
second.
just got
Don't worry
unfrozen.
about them. Like, come talk to me and like."
Not even his
Cobb doesn't
homie.
come and help him. Bill
What
Cobb
you do
should
is
come
you
and help
sit
him out.
over. You sit over it, and then it goes shoot, and it
Right,
takes all the shit
right in
out
your
of it.
ass.
And
Nah,
then you do
nobody
it two
helped
more
him.
times just to make sure.
Not even homegirl, not even his old homie. Nobody came to his aid.
Not
So,
even babyface.
Oh, she
Benjamin
was the
Bratt.
first one to kind of
Come
point
on.
and laugh. She was like, "He doesn't know how to use the 3 shell.
Yeah.
He's got shit in his ass right now. Can you fucking help the man?"
He's
He's
a
walking around with
46-year-old
shitty
man.
ass because
Shit in his
you
ass.
guys didn't even have a program that would tell him about essential things. Is this
Nothing.
the first time you've unthought a criminal?
that cop, this cop like sergeant
That's
guy
the
was being
future
such a
liberals
dick
want.
about it.
Yeah,
Like
right.
to the point that I thought he was part of the evil opposition. He was an interesting character to me, but I thought he was like kind of in cahoots type shit because he was such
At
a
first,
dick.
he could have turned, but they unfortunately they revealed too early that he was actually not bad.
Hmm.
They put too many clues in there early on for it. But like, yeah, so I'm gonna stand by my theory on this, even though there is
Okay.
no right answer for it. But I think this was trying to imagine a future where all of these people have dirty asses all the time, which is why
No,
they have
that's-
sex. Which is why they have sex with headsets as opposed to their bodies.
That was such a goddamn.
Okay, now I'm starting to
epilepsy jump
follow
scare.
your fucking thinking here.
Oh, okay. Here
Now
we go.
I get
no
why they
more
have
physical
sex with
touch.
That-
No more physical
listen.
touch. No
Right.
more exchange of bacteria.
Right, so you don't wipe your ass because you got to keep your hands clean.
3 decades of
things smell
advances in
bad?
sanitation technology. I think sanitation technology has improved extraordinarily in terms of aromatics and scents. I think you can create an environment where people don't know are negating.
I don't think
the
that.
scent- No, I think we're not. Thinking,
I think
we're not
that
thinking
we're in
enough
a
about
golden
the
age of
future.
sense, and that sense will take a large decrease from here.
Nobody will be able to smell after all of those. Like
I think
Yeah, the chemicals are going to ruin everybody on
it's
that.
a
I could see
neutralizing
that.
agent. It's a neutralizing agent. That means that you don't smell it on
But like,
everybody
if
around
you walk around with
'cause you
shit in your
all
ass, you get like
smell
infected. Things are
shit.
Yeah,
No,
we're back in the dark ages
I'm
real
back
quick
out.
with that.
Medical technology is
I'm
far
back.
more advanced.
I think the more
It's a three-part
reasonable
bidet.
explanation is that no one who isn't a Republican has sex.
That
This
part.
is real.
That part. Yeah, nobody's touching. Nobody's doing
Nobody's having sex because we're in a neoliberal society.
That scene
All right,
fucked me
so-
up real bad. I had to fast forward it.
So when we are at when we do part 2 of
Yeah.
this. I want homework for everybody. Between now and then, go pick up three seashells. Doesn't matter where you get them from, and let me know how that idea worked out.
Just figure it out.
Just figure it out.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
Part two coming soon when we make when we make Demolition Man 2
Yeah.
with that
That'll
with
be.
like the old black cop's son.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna absolutely. We're gonna do gender swaps. It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be sick. It's gonna the liberal the it will be the future that liberals want like for like dead ass though. They
It's
want Demolition Man 2.
They want
Well,
Demolition Man too. That's true.
coming in 2032.
Let's get it.
It's one of those movies
Mm.
you could talk about forever. Like we could have gotten probably 20 more minutes of delightful convo, maybe 30
Easily.
you, and it just would have gone forever. Like we could have gone forever. There's so many things that you don't even have time to bring up because it's so farcical and weird. And the choices are wild. Like, why did that guy's head explode after being frozen? Well, like, why did we need to see that? Why is this a horror movie at times? What is going on with this film? It's so much
There's a
fun to
lot
talk
of
about.
there's a lot of elements to it, and obviously we had a pretty lengthy conversation
Sure.
on this, and I feel really
A
good
wonderful
about
one.
it.
Had
And a
such a
great
good time.
combo. Kuno Rabbit,
Yeah.
like we'd never met him before, so this was like
No.
sort of a great introduction, and he obviously came out of this very much enjoying this movie. So he's fully on the endorsement. But like, look, yeah, there are a lot of things that we could cover and didn't get a chance to for this. This could be easily
Right.
another hour of conversation. But there's one thing we have to talk about.
We
Like
have to
have to
like
talk.
I thought we did a really good job of covering some wild
No, no,
shit.
no, no.
What possibly could we have left to talk about as far as like what do we need to figure out about this?
Rat burgers
Um,
and how close we are to the
oh
chronology
man,
of this
right.
movie.
Oh God. Okay, so this is 2026,
No, 2032.
2032. Okay. So the turnaround's going to be tough,
Hmm.
but we're at least we're like 4 or 5 years away from at least moving toward that society
Societal
where
collapse
where
is we're
where,
yeah.
where there's someone's in charge and we're all like forced to do whatever. You can mindless drones, whatever it is you want to call it. But we're if you don't want that, you're going to be driven into the sewers
Mhm.
and eating rat burgers. 5 years,
For
6
the
years.
price
For
for
the
the price of a
resistance,
gold watch.
we need some time for that resistance to form around it. Stuff like these people
Yeah.
need to get to know each other for a little while. There'll be
Yeah.
some mistrust at first. So, if it's 2036, we're 2025. I think the people are going to be rat burgering by 2032 at least.
I think with our RFK Jr. running our health department now, I think
We're getting exacerbated toward rat burgers.
we're gonna be eating rat burgers
Sure.
next year.
Next year,
Next year.
we're underground with rat burgers by next
Yeah.
year.
I didn't even think we would be underground at that point. I think we'll just be eating rat burgers.
Oh, well, just like if you want a burger, it'll be made out of a rat.
Exactly. Because all the cows
I
had to
mean,
be killed.
it's a very Swiftian
Taylor?
outcome. No, Jonathan.
Tay
It's a
Tay?
very Swiftian version of getting rid of, we need to get rid of the rats somehow, huh? Rat
God,
burger.
Jeff, what are we doing next? It's got to be something not like this.
I say we leave them on a cliffhanger, bud.
Mm.
I did like that part of our conversation,
Oh, yes.
that there's a Stallone left in the tank.
This is not our Stallone episode.
No, we can get more Stallone if you want.
It's the Cabbages Podcast Network.